This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 413 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is sponsored by Kentucky Performance Products. Visit them at kppusa.com. Howdy, everybody. Glenn the Geek back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, today we start a two-part series with you for today and tomorrow, and our expert is Linda Hauck. She has been on a couple times with us before. She's the owner of Tapestry Equine Services and has been passionate about eventing and thoroughbreds for as long as she has ridden. In 1983, Linda was a member of the Junior Ontario 3-day event team and an A-level pony clubber. And over the years, Linda has successfully trained and competed more than 100 horses, and this gives her a wealth of experience on the buying and selling of horses, and that's what we're going to talk about over the next 2 days. She's also trained thoroughbreds and is a registered thoroughbred trainer and has had many winners, including a stakes winner called My Imperial Gem. And what we're going to talk about over the next 2 days, today we're going to talk about actually the buying of a horse, the proper way, what to look for, things like that, because it's coming into the spring season, and it's that time when people start looking at buying in horses. And then tomorrow we'll take a look at selling a horse. And this is coming from Linda, who's had lots of experience doing both. So we hope you learn a little something today and tomorrow, talking about the various aspects of buying and selling horses. And we're going to get right to that after this word from Kentucky Performance Products. At Kentucky Performance Products, quality assurance is a key ingredient found in every product they sell. Each supplement is manufactured to exacting standards in certified facilities. Their ingredients are sourced from highly reputable suppliers, and their formulas are fixed to ensure consistency in each bucket. So what does the promise of quality assurance mean to you and your horse? It means you can trust that when you purchase a supplement from Kentucky Performance Products, you will see the results that you expect and the quality that you can count on. They guarantee it. Kentucky Performance Products, helping you keep your horses healthy, sound, and competitive. Visit them at kppusa.com. That's kppusa.com. Well, hi, Linda, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. Appreciate you joining us again.
Oh, Glenn, I always look forward to our interviews. Thanks for having me back.
Well, I got to see you for a little bit over at the American Equestrian Trade Association show, but I didn't get to hang around too long because they had us really busy there. So it was like we did a ton of interviews there. And I know that you were there trying to get stores to carry your really cool spur. So it was fun to see you in person for a change.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great when I can stop by and have a chat with you and catch up.
Well, today we are going to do a tip about what?
Well, I thought now is a good time of the year to talk about buying and selling horses.
Okay.
Some people are looking for that new mount for the show season. If they didn't have one suitable for the end of the season, maybe they're looking for something now, or someone wants to upgrade and sell on their horse that they've had for a while.
You know, it's funny because on the morning show on Horses in the Morning, Jamie, my co-host, has been looking for horses for her clients, and she's been sharing on the show the frustration she has had. You know, and especially we've all gotten a chuckle out of, and we've all been saving really funny horse selling ads on Craigslist. You know, it is amazing what people will put on Craigslist, and then when you get there, what it really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a timely topic, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and you know what? Right off the top there, you allude to the whole honesty of buying and selling horses, and exactly how many times have we gone to a barn to see a horse that had an amazing description about it, and when we get there, it's anything but what we read about.
Yeah, usually it's the exact opposite. It's just like completely sound. No, really three-legged lame.
Very brave. Will jump anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Won't go near the wall.
At least the Amish have it right. When they post the ads, when they put ads in the newspapers when they're selling horses, they'll say right up front, man's horse. It means the thing's crazy, you know? But they're right up front about it. Man's horse. That's one of the things we learned to look for when we lived in Amish country. Is if it said man's horse, you knew it was a handful.
You know, quite right.
So what tips do you have for people?
Well, why don't we talk about the buying part first? So,
Okay.
You're looking for a new horse. You've read the ad. You've come across a horse that you think might be suitable for you. There's a couple of things I think to keep in mind when you're going to see that horse. Is first of all, am I going to take my coach? And if I can't take my coach with or an advisor, the very least I'm going to take a video camera with me, because you don't want to make that impulsive decision first time you see a horse you want to buy it. Definitely get a videotape of it, and then you can show it to whoever that you trust their opinion on.
Right. Yep.
First impression. When I go to look at a horse that I want to buy, I want to know what the first impression is when I see that horse. Ideally, it's either in its stall or it's waiting for me on cross ties. And that first impression includes, what does their eye look like? Have they got a soft eye? Do they have an intelligent eye? Or do they have a worried eye?
Now, on the first impression thing, we always made it a habit of going about 20 minutes early, because we wanted to see the horse in its natural environment before they had a chance to get it all spiffied up. So we would now as a seller, we always hated when people came early. We always got the horse ready early for people like us. But do you ever go early?
No, and that's a great point, Glenn. Yes, I'll definitely go a little bit early, because you're right. You want to catch that horse, in its environment for sure. I'm always dubious of when you get there and the horse is already out under tack.
Yes.
To me, that's a clear sign that they're trying to hide something. They're either warming it up because it's a really hot horse, or they're warming it up because they're trying to hide a little bit of lameness or something. But you're absolutely right. Going early can sometimes catch them off guard, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Well,
and one of the things, if the horse is still out in the field, if you go early, then you watch him catch the horse. If he's hard to catch. That's one of the things. But if we go and, like you said, and they're already tacked up and ready to go, my wife will actually say, why don't we take the horse back in the barn, take the tack off? I'd rather do a visual inspection of the horse without the tack on. She'll make him actually untack the horse and start over.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you're going to see if they have any problems with putting the bit on, all of those things you're going to see by forcing them to do that. And we've actually had a couple people that come out and said no, and then we just leave. We wouldn't even hang around.
Yeah, because that comes back to our very first point of being honest.
Right.
I want to have a good gut feeling from that person that I'm buying that horse from, and that I'm getting the correct information on that horse.
Right, exactly.
So again, along with that first impression of the eye, the temperature, their temperament, and confirmation, you're right. The only way you can assess that first off is if they're there without any tack on, pretty much in the cross ties. You can walk around them. Again, being an X-race horse trainer, I'm diligent about checking legs. I want to feel for any lumps, bumps, heat before that horse goes out and does any kind of work.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and definitely, I don't care who you are, you better be doing that. And if you're not qualified to do that, as you said, bring somebody along who is.
Yes, and again, that little bit surprise, I'm here a few minutes early, will very often tell you exactly the picture on that horse on that day. Absolutely.
So then, do you recommend that they ride the horse first?
Absolutely. I want to see what that horse does from the get-go. I want to see how it moves off at the walk. Is it safe enough to put my own rider on?
Right.
No, never, because, again, we come back to the honesty thing, and how many times have we read an ad, we got to the barn, and the horse is anything but what we thought it was. So from a coaching perspective, there's no way I want to put my client on a horse that I've never seen go. I've never been able to see it go under tack.
Walk, trot, canter, if appropriate?
Yeah, walk, trot, canter, loose rein maybe to start. Then, what does the horse do when you start to pick up some contact? I don't, again, have a problem watching them do trotting pulls and even do a small jump. Then at least I can see, where are we at with this horse.
Mm-hmm. And then do you get up yourself?
I absolutely will. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough that I still am very active riding all my clients' horses, and if there's a horse that my student gets on and goes, yeah, you know what, I really like the feel, what do you think? Then I'll absolutely hop on and get an indication of what I'm feeling as well, for sure. Yeah.
Now, what about, you've done all of that. What about vet checks? Are you a believer that every horse should have a vet check, and there's different points of view on this, and I've done, we've done a lot of shows here on the Horse Radio Network, and some people will say, it depends on the price or how confident you are or how competent you are, and then other people say get a vet check every time.
Again, a great point, Glenn. I think for sure you have to look, one, at the value of the horse. If you're going to spend a ton of money on a horse, then you're probably going to want an extensive vetting. You're going to have to look at your client's budget. What can they afford? So for me, I take a lot of clients down to the racetrack to buy their next project, and they may be spending anywhere from, $1,000 to $2,000. I will insist, if they don't want to do, an extensive exam, I will at least insist on feet and hocks. Feet because of navicular and that classic saying, no foot, no horse. Hocks because that's where the power comes from.
Right. Right.
We'll also do, the eyes. We'll check the heart, and we'll just go from there. If they want to cover themselves for selling that horse later on, absolutely do as much as as you can, and what your budget allows for.
And it all comes down to, we always used to use the theory, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but this is what we used to use. We weren't buying expensive $100,000 horses. We were buying your average everyday low level competition horse, and we always said, what can you afford to lose? If you're buying a horse and you're not getting it vet checked, can you afford to lose that money and start over? Because that might be the case. Now, even if you get it vet checked, that still is a good question. But we used to take a look at that as sort of our guide on what we would determine how far we would go with the vet check. Because you can do, as you said, you can do vet checks for thousands of dollars. You can do a vet check for a couple $100. It all depends on what you want to do. If you're buying a $100,000 horse, you're going to get X-rays everywhere.
Absolutely, because that's a lot of money that, to try and recoup down the road for, a lameness that could have been detected on that initial vetting. Absolutely.
And, maybe if you're spending your last $3,000 and this is going to be the only horse you have a chance of buying, in the next couple of years, you might want to have a vet check too, whereas somebody else buying a $3,000 horse may not. So that then becomes an individual decision at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. If that is going to be your horse for the next 10 to 15 years and you're willing to live with what you've got, then great. A lot of people, though, that's the horse that I'm going to invest a couple of years into, train it, and then hopefully resell it. Right. At least you've got a benchmark with some base X-rays of where that horse was 3 years ago. Then when you go to sell that horse and those potential clients then X-ray, you've got X-rays to compare against. Right.
Cool. Anything else for when you're out there buying?
Well, nothing that really that stands out other than your gut feeling, the honesty, what the horse moves like. How does your client and that horse get along? I've always told people never convince yourself to buy a horse for whatever reason, be it color, breeding, bloodlines. You're the one that's going to take that horse home and pay the bills on it. You better love it for the right reasons.
And how many times have we gone with clients to buy horses where they just fall in love? The minute they walk in, they fall in love with that horse. And it's like, no, you can't do that. Just because he's cute doesn't make him sound.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but you've done it. You've been with clients that have done it. We've all been there, and it's tough, especially when you're bringing teenage girls that are in that 12 to 15-year-old range, and they just fall in love, with the first one they see. But you have to go out prepared to not fall in love. You have plenty of time to fall in love. We can do that later. down the road.
Absolutely. After you've done your due diligence,
Right.
No, you're absolutely right. But somebody in the picture, be it the coach, the parent, or someone, has to remain practical.
Right, exactly. Which is tough to do when the 12-year-old's crying her eyeballs out in the car on the way home. It's tough to do. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
well, let's do the selling part as a second tip here. We'll do a short series, and we'll do that in tomorrow's episode. So we'll be back with Linda with the selling part of the buying and selling of horses. Thank you, Linda. Where can people find out more about you and that spur we talked about at the beginning of the show?
Well, Glenn, I have a training site, which is tapestryequine.ca, and my Persuader site is www.persuader.com.
All right, great, and I can attest to the Persuader. My wife uses Persuader. It's the only that's the only spur she uses now with our quarter horse. It's all he really needs, and it works perfectly for him. So we highly recommend the Persuaders. Check them out. Well, thank you, Linda, and we'll talk again tomorrow on the other side of this equation.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you to Linda. We appreciate her being on with us on a regular basis like this, and we hope that you found this information helpful. Tomorrow we'll continue this two-part series on selling horses, and we hope you tune in again then. And don't forget that you can listen to our live morning show at 9 a.m. Eastern every morning, Monday through Friday at horsesinthemorning.com. And, of course, you can listen to all of our shows at horseradionetwork.com. And I wanted to mention a special shout-out that Chris is doing a special live show coming up from the Red Hills Horse Trials, the first time that we're going to be coming to you live from the eventing radio show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night this weekend, which is going to be the 11th, 12th, and 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris will be coming to you live from that event and that venue, and we're looking forward to hearing all about what's happening at the first big 3-day event here in the United States at Red Hills in Florida. And she'll be bringing you guests and wrap-up and all kinds of really cool stuff. So we're looking forward to that on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, have a great day.
The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.